Sometimes, the people society laughs at the most are the same people who later save everyone. Welcome back to Lumenveil Stories, where emotional African stories, painful struggles, shocking twists, and unforgettable life lessons come to life. Today's story is about a poor village boy, a boy people mocked daily. They called him useless, lazy, dreamer, failure. But one terrible night, everything changed. And suddenly, the same people who insulted him began praying he could save them. If you enjoy emotional African storytelling filled with suspense, inspiration, and powerful life lessons, subscribe now and become part of the family. Now, let's begin. In a small village near Kenema in Sierra Leone lived a quiet boy named Daniel. Daniel was 19 years old, thin, shy, always quiet, and because of his severe stammering problem, many people treated him like he was stupid. Whenever he tried speaking in public, children laughed, even adults mocked him openly. Some people called him the broken radio. Others simply ignored him completely. But what hurt Daniel most was that nobody ever believed in him, not even his own relatives. Years earlier, Daniel's father died unexpectedly after a short illness. After that, life became very difficult for the family. His mother struggled alone selling cassava and charcoal in the local market. Some nights, there was barely enough food for both of them. And because of poverty, Daniel could not continue school properly. Eventually, he dropped out. That was when the village completely lost respect for him. People assumed his future was already finished. But Daniel had one unusual habit. Every evening, instead of playing football with other boys, he spent hours fixing broken things: old radios, generators, torches, fans, even abandoned machines people had thrown away. Whenever villagers saw him carrying useless metal scraps home, they laughed. One man once shouted publicly, "Daniel thinks he's an engineer now." Everybody laughed loudly. Daniel stayed quiet, as always. Near the edge of the village stood an old abandoned water pumping machine connected to a broken borehole system. Years earlier, it used to supply clean water to the entire community. But after it stopped working, nobody repaired it. Now villagers walked long distances daily to fetch water from a muddy stream. Many people had accepted that situation permanently. But Daniel became obsessed with that machine. Almost every day, he secretly visited it, studying it, cleaning parts quietly, trying to understand how it worked. People thought he was wasting time. Even his mother worried about him. One afternoon during a village gathering, the local chief asked young men about their future plans. Some spoke proudly about business. Others mentioned traveling abroad. Then someone jokingly pointed at Daniel. "What about him? He wants to repair dead machines." The entire gathering burst into laughter. Daniel tried speaking, but his stammer became worse under pressure. People laughed even harder. That moment humiliated him deeply. That night, he cried secretly outside their house while everyone slept. Unknown to the villagers, Daniel had been secretly teaching himself mechanical repair using old phones and free internet videos whenever he could access connection in town. At night, he studied for hours, drawing diagrams by candlelight, watching tutorials repeatedly, learning slowly by himself. Nobody knew, because nobody ever bothered asking what he was doing. They had already decided he would never become anything. Then came the heavy rainy season, and with it, disaster. For several days, powerful rainstorms flooded nearby areas badly. The village stream became contaminated, dirty, dangerous. Soon people started getting sick, children especially, vomiting, Severe stomach pain, fever, panic spread quickly across the village. Because now, the only available water source had become unsafe. Within days, the situation became serious. The nearest clinic warned villagers to stop drinking the contaminated water immediately. But there was another problem. No clean water existed nearby anymore. Fear spread everywhere. Mothers cried. Families panicked. And suddenly, people remembered the old abandoned borehole system, but nobody knew how to fix it. Several men attempted repairing the machine. None succeeded. The village became desperate. Then something shocking happened. Daniel quietly stepped forward. At first, people ignored him. Then he stammered nervously. I think I can fix it. Silence, then laughter. Again, one man mocked him openly. You fix this machine? But the village chief interrupted suddenly. Because honestly, they had no better option left. So reluctantly, they allowed Daniel to try. That evening, Daniel worked alone beside the broken machine while rain continued falling lightly. Hours passed. People watched from distance whispering. Some still laughed quietly, others shook their heads. But Daniel refused to stop. For the first time in his life, he looked completely focused, completely fearless, like this was the moment he had secretly prepared for all along. Then something happened. The old machine suddenly made a loud sound. Everybody froze. Daniel adjusted something quickly. Then moments later, clean water burst out powerfully from the pipes. For several seconds, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The same machine, abandoned for years, was working again. Then suddenly, the entire village exploded with excitement. People screamed, cried, celebrated. Some mothers dropped to their knees, thanking God. And standing quietly in the middle of it all was the same boy everyone once mocked. Everything about Daniel changed. The villagers who once insulted him now respected him. Children followed him around proudly. Men who mocked him avoided eye contact from shame. Even the chief publicly apologized for doubting him. But the emotional moment that touched Daniel most was seeing his mother cry, tears of pride, for the first time in years. Weeks later, news about Daniel spread beyond the village. A local organization heard his story. They visited personally. And after seeing his skills, they offered him training support in mechanical engineering. The same boy people called useless was suddenly being given opportunities nobody imagined possible. And honestly, that moment proved something powerful. Sometimes, talent grows quietly, in places where nobody bothers looking. Life taught the village important lessons through Daniel's story. They learned that poverty does not mean lack of intelligence. Silence does not mean weakness. And people who struggle socially are not automatically failures. Most importantly, they learned never to laugh at someone's dreams simply because they do not understand them. Because the same person society ignores today may become the person everyone depends on tomorrow. If this story touched your heart, tell us in the comments. Have you ever been underestimated by people around you? And if you enjoy emotional African stories filled with suspense, inspiration, life lessons, and unforgettable transformations, subscribe now to Lumenveil Stories.